Be it resolved, the meeting be convened at 9 a.m. with Reeve Bobby Johnson in the chair. Mover, please.
Grayson.
Seconder.
Sure.
All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of June 13th, 2022 be adopted as circulated. Need a mover?
David.
Seconder.
Malcolm.
All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved, the minutes for the regular meeting of May 9th, 2022 and joint meeting of May 30th, 2022 be adopted as circulated. Need a mover?
Bolton.
Seconder.
Yep.
All in favor? Delegations, none. Finance and accounts. Be it resolved that the financial statement of May 2022 be referred to council. Need a mover?
Malcolm.
Seconder? Questions or concerns? All in, go ahead.
I had asked a couple of questions on Friday, and I was expecting a little more detail. I guess in the answers I got was kind of a vague answer. That's fine.
What did you need to know? Like, you're talking about your grader expenses and the,
Yeah,
so the grader expenses, David, what I was trying to get across is that when you have your budget line and you have a variance or an under, like you can see how much in every category, the budget line for each category, right? But in bold underneath it gives you a total.
yeah, well, I realized that,
But
but
so
one
the,
particular category was way off.
well, but that, so I can explain it to you a little
We
bit more.
can look at it.
Yeah, I'll explain it to you a bit more, but
Yeah,
it
it's
was,
not that important.
and the greater expenses would be like, we've had a lot of inventory, like blades and stuff that we need to get,
Oh,
like stuff that was a must-have kind of thing. And what was the other one? Office expense, or was it office? But that one is actually okay, so yeah, I can sit down with you and explain how it all works if you would like, but yeah.
Any other questions? All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that accounts check number 28761 to check number 28830 totaling $338,962.96. And direct deposits withdrawal totaling $53,196.73 be approved for payment. Need a mover?
Grayson.
Seconder?
David.
Questions or concerns on that one?
The big one for AMM is that insurance.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's up again this year.
yes, it is. Almost $200,000.
Yeah.
Nothing's cheap anymore.
There was a reason that we were going to look for other quotes on that too, but there was some reason came up that didn't
There
make
was
sense.
another company that was going to, like offer better rates and, yeah, something, but the guy that reached out to us now is no longer there. And, we gave him all the information and never heard back, so I don't know. But I know a couple municipalities have switched over to different insurance providers. I know HMS, they were reaching out to us too for the next coming year, so it's good to look at options.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And when you keep getting bumped and then
yeah,
their heroes giving us rebates after, I mean,
right, yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
It's just,
No, we'll look into it again for the new, next coming year, see what our options are.
any other questions? All in favor? Carried. We're gonna skip through planning matters because you probably were running ahead. We'll go right to,
We go to joint resolutions if you want, Bob, page 3.
number 8, joint resolutions. Be it resolved that the joint committee approve and add in the 14th annual military recognition book in the amount of $340 and the cost shared 50-50 between the town of Kirby and the municipality of North Cypress-Langford. Mover,
Holmstrom.
seconder,
David,
questions?
It's just an ad that we normally put in.
The only, I guess, which was the one that we decided to do ourselves over?
That was the
Oh,
cancer care.
I guess maybe we're gonna, is the discussion the same with this?
No, that one was decided at the joint committee that that's how you wanted to go, right? That's my understanding.
Yeah, but I mean, the same reasons that we went alone on the truck pull. Anyways, for this year, it's good, it's just something to remember ongoing. Did I get a move there in a second?
Yeah.
All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that joint approve the return of joint employees' paid premiums received from Western Financial for the year of 2021 as presented. Mover?
Yep.
Seconder?
Malcolm.
Questions?
What was that? It wasn't there, but was it a pretty substantial return?
No.
No,
Pennies.
it's.
Blue Cross.
Yeah, just like ours, yeah.
All in favor? Be it resolved the joint committee hire Jesse Walker for green team position with Parks and Rec at the wage set out in the employment agreement. Need a mover?
Yep.
Seconder?
Harold, is that you?
Yep. Sorry.
That's okay.
All in favor?
Yes.
Carried. Be it resolved the committee agreed to increase Kara Bernier salary to 43,000 annually effective at the end of her 6-month probation period. Need a mover?
Sounds good.
Seconder?
You can sit, Margo, it's okay.
No,
Sorry.
we have got paper in front of us.
We got a copy too.
Mover, seconder? All in favor? Carried. So we do have a delegation.
Well, I don't know, I'm just, oh, is this the tax impact?
Yes.
I thought that was until July.
No, that's open house.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, we can take, yeah, we have a public hearing at 9:05. I mean, some planning matters, but that's.
Actually, you know what?
I
You,
didn't
you
even-
laid, let's just give them the table
Sure,
now.
yeah.
Go for it, yep.
If you, we'll introduce ourselves quick
That's
and
my
then,
fault, I guess, I don't know why it didn't pop up, but. I'm surprised you didn't call me on Friday.
Harold, you wanna go first?
Harold Tolton, counselor.
Dallas Homestead Council.
Trish Fraser, CEO.
Bobby, your answer to read?
Recreation counselor? Malcolm Murray, counselor.
David Blair.
If you guys could introduce yourselves and tell us.
Sorry, I completely apologize for that one, I don't know what happened.
I am Karen Anderson, District Supervisor for the Brandon Resource Assessment Service.
Thanks, Anita.
No.
Okay?
His first name, Karen.
Yeah. So we are here to discuss the impact of the 2023 reassessment on your property taxes. So I don't read the report verbatim, I just kind of hit on the highlights, just so you're aware. So this report provides you council with an overview of the impact the reassessment 2023 will have on your municipality. And for 2023, assessed values of all properties will be updated to the new reference date, which is April 1st of 2021 from the previous reference date, which was April 1st of 2018. Traditionally, we're on a 2-year cycle. COVID temporarily pushed this cycle to 3 years, but we go back to a 2-year cycle. So the next one will be 2025. And these updated assessments will be used for your 2023 property taxes. And this report just provides you some details on how the taxable assessments have changed in your municipality and across the province, and how it will impact your municipal and school taxes. And these impacts just reflect modeling, so there is changes still going on all summer, and amended roll in the fall. And the objective to a province-wide reassessment, of course, is just to provide equity, fairness, and greater ratepayer understanding. Next page, so the reassessment reflects how the property values have changed since the previous reassessment, which can be attributed to changes to the supply and demand for real estate or the market values, any new construction or improvements to existing properties. The province's taxable assessment has increased by 10%, and your municipality's taxable assessment has increased by 5%. That first table you see, that is the changes in taxable and portioned assessment. So your single-family residential has gone up 2.4%, your apartments have gone up 1.5%. Overall, your residential has increased 2.4%. Your farm has gone up 6.9%, commercial industrial 5.1%, institutional 1.5%, pipeline 6.1%, railway 7.4%, and your designated rec, which is the golf course, has gone down 4.4%.
What page are you on?
I'm on page 2.
Two.
Number 2 at the very bottom.
Right.
Yeah. Second page.
When you go to number 4, it's a little different.
Yeah,
This
it
one.
looks a little bit.
There you go.
So overall, your municipality has increased by 5.5%. So, of course, assessment increases, decreases don't necessarily.
It's totally different.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
not
you're
looking
wrong
at the right
page there,
one. This is
Bob. There you
right.
go.
Okay, you're good. So I'm on page 3 now, but you can look at the table.
I'm just gonna ask you the question why page 2 is so different from page 4 with the same. But anyway, go ahead, you know what? You're doing this, not me.
So assessment increases, decreases, of course, don't necessarily result in tax increases, decreases. And only properties seeing above average assessment increases will likely have an increase in taxes. However, the impacts of this report do not take into account any other taxes levied on the part of your municipality. So any special service fees, LEPs, that kind of thing. So on page 4, so this table shows the total tax change, municipal and school taxes. It's modeled using, for the municipal rates, the 2021 mill rates. They're applied to your 2022 assessment to come up with what a budget would have looked like and then recalculated for 2023. So it assumes no budget change. It also kind of indicates where your school taxes are going to shift. So your single-family residential is seeing a 4.7% decrease, apartments a 2.4% decrease. Overall, your residential is seeing a 4.5% decrease. Your farm is seeing a 0.4% decrease. Your commercial industrial, a 1.2% decrease. Institutional, a 3.8% decrease. Pipeline, a 2.1% decrease. Railway, a 0.8% decrease. And designated rec, a 10.3% decrease. Overall, you're seeing a 1.6% decrease, meaning your municipality will be responsible for that less school tax for 2023.
Pipeline is going down 2.1, and with all the work they've done in this municipality and all that, is their assessment not in, or when do they
No,
report?
their assessment's gone up, but because this is based on assuming no budget changes, because of the increase in assessment across all of your property, all of your properties are actually seeing a tax decrease for 2023, because they're assuming you're not changing your budget. That's why. So their assessment has gone up, and a lot of that is factored into the increase in their assessed value. But when everybody's assessment goes up, taxes, assuming no budget changes, then taxes drop.
So the assessment on farmland must have gone up
Yeah.
substantially more than on pipeline.
It's 5 on pipeline, 6.9%
Because the development that pipeline's done in this municipality over the last 2 years is huge. Like you would have thought that would have gone up. But okay.
So, below that table just kind of gives you I take it with a grain of salt, it kind of gives you an idea how many properties might see tax increases, decreases. The next table on page 5, this is the municipal levy, so this is the table you control as council. And so your single-family residential is again seeing a 2.9% decrease. Apartments a 3.8% decrease. Overall, your residential is decreasing by 3%. Your farm is seeing a 1.4% increase. Your commercial industrial, a 0.4% decrease, institutional, a 3.8% decrease, pipeline, a 0.6% increase, railway, a 1.8% increase, and designated rec, a 9.4% decrease. And it zeroes out again, assuming you haven't made any budget changes.
So these increases and decreases, that's just reflecting that there's more, we're gonna get 1.4 on farmland more because the assessment has gone up. That's how
And
that,
this is assuming, like, this is the redistribution based on its value and assuming you make no budget changes. So any property that sees an assessment increase less than the 5.5% should see a decrease in taxes. So the next page is just some of council's options to moderate impacts. So there's 4 tools available. So you have the phase-in tax increases and decreases. Generally not used because it only works over a 2-year period. Then there's the varying property class portion percentages, which can only be applied to the municipal taxes. And it does require provincial regulation, so it is something, if you were considering it, you'd have to start by the end of the month doing the legwork for it. Then there's the ability to establish a tax credit program, which most RMs use for development purposes, and then the other municipal tax tools, which are the most common, and those are your special service levies and LEVs and things of that nature. And there's a number of property tax reduction programs still in place, so the education property tax rebate is still there. For 2022, it is going up to 37.5%, and it is expected to increase to 50% for 2023. There's the Manitoba Residential Renters Tax Credit, the Education Property Tax Credit, the Senior School Tax Rebate, Homeowner School Tax Assistance, and the Farmland School Tax Rebate. And then finally, how the public's finding out about the reassessment. So we have our provincial website, all the data used to set the reassessment rates, so all the sales up to April 1st of 2021 are now available to the public on the website, which also includes a number of fact sheets and all kinds of other information. New this year, you will see on the notices, which are in the mail today, so great payers will have them by the end of the week probably. There is a little box at the top that talks about My Property ID, so this is new for this year. It replaces the property owner's online portal that property owners can go to with their client number to get their information. It's a more secure way of getting your information, so this just requires people to create a password and user ID so that it's more secure to them. Toll-free customer service line, so every notice goes with a brochure. It lists all the offices in the province. We all have toll-free numbers, so nobody has to have a long distance charge to talk to an assessor. There are a number of assessment fact sheets available online. Their assessment notice has a lot of information on it. I highly encourage people not to see this is not a tax bill and toss it, but it does happen. Open houses are being held across the province, and we do have an open house here on July 5th from 4 to 8. And then this report should provide you, the administrators and council with enough basic information to answer tax questions that might arise. The other option this year for people who don't feel comfortable coming to an open house in person, or they can't come during those hours, is there is the ability by appointment only to set up a virtual open house meeting with an assessor. You just have to phone our office or send an email to our office's email to make those arrangements. And we do it however best suits them.
so this July 5th meeting, are you guys coming to this, or is this just our,
Yes.
and where is it, at the,
It's here.
It's here.
in the office?
Yeah.
I sent a calendar invite a long time ago, it should be in your calendar, so.
And then you will be at that one.
Yep.
Okay.
Along with another assessor, but.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you.
Some of these things are based on, obviously, budget remaining the same.
That's how they model it.
So, will the assessor's fees be staying the same?
The fee calculation is based on your supplemental, like a complex calculation, but it's based on how much supplemental you receive, the extra added assessment, so that, if you got a sudden surge of new construction and got a huge value increase, you might see your levy go up, but
Well, our assessment is going up, I
yeah,
think.
that doesn't play into, it's just the supplemental that ties into the levy. Part of the calculation on the assessment side, and then there's some other complicated stuff that goes into the levy that I.
So that's not too bad if you would just put it in English terms here for the people in North Cypress-Langford, right? I mean, it's reasonable and.
It's very, you guys are seeing pretty moderate and expected, like slight increase. What's modeled there is what we expect to see is a slight decrease in taxes for the slight increase in value. Whether that becomes reality when it comes time for you to budget is another matter, but
I think we budgeted for extra fuel this year, but if that keeps going, that's a big part of municipality.
and that's
Machinery
something we
costs
can't
of-
model into that.
Machinery replacement has gone through the roof too, till supply gets back on track.
Yeah, you have to model up and down value.
So,
Good news that the tax things are coming out.
That has nothing to do with them. They're not municipal
Didn't
relations.
she just?
they are municipal, that's a different branch.
Yeah, that's another category.
There you go.
Same brand.
Wrong people, but same brand.
And leave you some extra.
Okay, perfect, no, that's awesome. Thank you, girls, very much.
Oh, no problem. And we'll see you, I guess.
Yes,
in
on
a
the
few
5th.
weeks.
Yes, I had that in there. I didn't have today in there. So, hey, stuff happens. But thank you so much, though. That's awesome.
No, wonderful. Well, you guys have a
And enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rain.
Safe drive home.
How's it going?
Have a good
Okay, I think we're gonna go back to number 6, planning matters. Rachel's here right now.
Morning, Rachel. Morning.
Be it resolved the council adjourn its regular meeting at 9:25 for the purpose of holding public hearings regarding application for conditional use orders and variation orders. Need a mover?
No, I'll second it.
All in favor? Okay, is there any written or verbal stuff on any of these?
No,
Did
so-
anybody ever get counselors? Nothing? Okay, the table's yours then.
Perfect. So the first thing I want to go over is the conditional use order application for Justin Caswick. So this is attached to subdivision 4155-21-8361. It is located east of Lake Irwin, up in the agriculture conservation area. And they are looking to establish a rural non-farm dwelling site. So again, very standard for the subdivisions we see. It is, if I'm not mistaken, there's 155 acres and they're looking at creating, oops, I didn't get too many folders. 10 acres, a very standard
Is
10
this
acre.
it right here behind you? Am I?
You betcha.
There you go.
Yeah, going forward, we're gonna be putting, aerial image on all of our conditional use order and variation order notices, just because I find that people have a harder time understanding from just words, so we're gonna put a picture, yeah, so the visuals will come off of all the subdivision applications. So again, it's just the establishments, we've already gone through the process with the subdivision to approve the subdivision, and now we're just cleaning up the conditions, so.
Is this an existing yard site or?
No, they planted the trees. about
Planted
15
that about 25 years ago, the trees and that, to hopefully do what they're doing today, so.
So again, with all of the conditional use orders that we're looking at creating, we have our kind of standard conditions that our Cypress-Langford uses. Nothing, there isn't anything too spectacular. This one, the only thing is that, again, it's in the AC 80, which is conservation area, again, being adjacent to Lake Irwin. We just try to pay special attention to those type of locations for future development and that sort of thing.
Access to Lake Irwin for the general public won't change because they planted these trees 20 years ago and everybody.
No, you're right.
Yeah, and this is a mile from the
Hasn't
lake.
changed anything, so,
Yeah, it's on the very edge of the buffer that was created for Lake Irwin, so
yeah. If it ever gets that high, we got a problem.
a lot of people have problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, we received no communication. Again, this is fairly standard subdivisions, or standard.
How are we
conditions.
notifying people of these now? Are we still putting up signs or just
So,
letters or?
yeah, so we send out the mailing notice, and then we have been posting in the office, on the website, here in the office. We haven't been posting on property in these type of situations. If we've got a situation where we're doing a conditional use order or variation order that is in a tighter proximity to other locations or other residents, we will mark those properties. But in this situation, we haven't been, because there's not a lot of traffic out that way. And in fact, I don't know if we had all that many notices that went out. There was, again, a large portion of it was sent. We're all listed to Her Majesty the Queen. So again, there's one notification there. So there was only 6 notices that were sent out, including the landowner. So
And the roads are already there?
you betcha.
Okay.
That's good.
Wanna do mid-plains then, I guess? Is that-
Sure.
So is it a hearing first, Bob, and
Eh?
you're still in the hearing phase, you gotta close out of it first before you.
We don't do the subdivisions and hearings?
No, so we have a public hearing for the conditional use order, but the subdivisions are just approved by council.
Okay. Be it resolved. The public hearing regarding conditional use order be adjourned at 9:30 a.m. and the regular meeting of council is in the mover.
Grayson?
Seconder,
Bolton.
all in favor? Carried. Said in our first motion, wow, it said variations right there.
I know that was my fault, I got a typo there. You take it
Oh,
out.
just one hearing today, just a little
It
one.
happens, it happens.
Okay. You want us to vote on this? Yeah, let's get
Here, I
this
got it
straight.
right, yep.
Yep. do it.
Yeah, so with the Mid-Plains application for subdivision, we have deferred it from the last council meeting just to gather some more information. I did speak with the planner as well as Terranet, which is land title. So Terranet has no concern with blending the 2 properties across municipal boundaries. With that being said, the property from town of Carberry will have to be consolidated into North Cypress-Langford's property. There's no way to create the parcel without doing the consolidation. So I've reached out to the town of Carberry to verify that they're still in favor of this application, because again, it has to be cut and sold off from the town of Carberry. They will have another discussion tomorrow night. But again, going forward, as long as North Cypress-Langford feels comfortable with the conditions that have been applied, knowing that it will have to be consolidated into North Cypress-Langford property, I would suggest that if you're comfortable with the application, to approve it today. And that way we can just keep going if the town of Carberry chooses to continue with the application. So as far as I know, Mid-Plains is still in favor of the application, and last time I spoke to town of Carberry, they didn't outright say cancel the subdivision or cancel the application. So there is still positive movement in this project, so.
Yeah, and at joint council too, the town sounded very accepting of it too, so it sounded pretty smooth.
Yeah, so going back to the original application on this subdivision, even in the original SAM, it does say consolidate. So,
Right.
It's not like we were, the planner wasn't blindsided with the fact that there was a consolidation. There was just a little miscommunication in the forefront. But again, if we don't, it's a landlocked parcel, and there, unless they were to open up Prairie Shot Road across the agricultural land, and there is no desire to do that, so.
So, in a nutshell, they're gonna give us that 200, they're gonna transfer from the town to the municipality that 200 yards, which Mid-Plain is buying.
Yes, there's 6 acres that will be consolidated from town of Carberry into North Cypress-Langford.
At no cost to us, And our other stipulations are in there for access and all that, right?
Okay, yeah, as far as my understanding, it will just be consolidated in and there shouldn't be any associated costs. But again, if there is concern, add that into a condition. I think we already had that as all legal cost incurred and
Yeah, it's-
responsibility.
yeah.
Yeah, so.
Okay. Gonna do, what do you guys wanna do? You wanna keep going, or, cause we didn't do the, yeah, let's do them all and then we'll.
Sure,
go
we can
through
talk
them.
about Sholey, if everyone's okay with that. So the next application is 4155-22-8395. It is, it's for Right Spud Farms and Robert Sholey. He is looking to increase his existing rural non-farm dwelling site. So he is looking to cut a small area, kind of adjacent to his existing property. He's got 1.78 acres right now, which is well below what we like to see rural non-farm dwelling sites. And he's looking to add 2.2 acres, or 2.22 acres from the existing Right Spud Farms property. So he's just, and again, it's just to enlarge the little yard site he's got. He's looking to construct a new home and possibly an accessory use structure, so, yeah. So as you can see, like, he's just got a very tight little yard site. He's just wanting to kind of enlarge it a little bit, so it would be realigning property lines and a consolidation. Pretty standard. So again, in this situation, we'd be looking at a conditional use order and a variation order. Unfortunately, even though it's an existing rural non-farm dwelling site, because the title changes, so there's a revision to it, we have to readdress it as a conditional use order. And he's not quite gonna meet the 5 acre mark, so we're gonna have to do a variation order, sorry, to adjust the size.
You already got a septic field in there?
Yep, he's already got a septic system. Yeah, it's over in the bottom there. With that being said, I know he is looking at developing a new house. So depending on the placement of the new home, he might have to look at altering the system. But
So just for my, whereabouts is this, on what road, where, like,
In varieties.
oh, in Varieties?
yeah, so this
Yeah.
is
Okay.
70 north, between 79 and 80 west.
Sure, okay.
Yeah, it's a nice little yard site, but he's
Yeah.
just needing a bit more space, which I can appreciate. A 1.78 acre yard
Yeah.
site is pretty tight. Yeah, it really doesn't allow for future growth, and I think that's the issue, is that he has plans for development, and he's just run out of space. So.
So I've been told. That's where it is.
Right?
That's what I've been told.
Well, yeah, it makes sense now that you say that, the tree
Yeah,
lines. I
it's
recognize.
east to Willwood.
Yep. Okay, so electrical crossing, you wanna talk about that, or is it just?
Sure, we can just keep motoring along if you'd like. So which road crossing we got?
That'll be 2/2022.
You betcha. So we had an application on Sand Hills Electric to establish a road crossing here. So again, the process is we receive the application, we kind of fill it out and provide a map, and we send it off to the road committee. So we are looking at 8-inch diameter water line, no electrical service line, and it will be located northeast 331115, and location would be 341115 northwest. Sorry. So it's a 90-degree crossing just south of Road 87 West.
I'm always ready.
Right there.
I love technology, you never, I'm never sure what's going on. But, yeah, so again, pretty standard road crossing. He is very aware of the policy within the municipality of how we install irrigation systems, so.
And to notify the foreman, right?
You betcha, yeah. So what we've been doing is we've been, again, receiving the initial applications through email, putting together the application and the map, sending it off to the road committee, and then I basically walk through with the applicants, their requirements of what they need to be looking at, and then we send them an email, and then we'll send them something more formal once it's been approved at council level.
There was one, road repair.
You betcha. So we received communication from Evan Reynolds. He has a road crossing which is Do you have a map on this one?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just writing that down, yep.
For sure.
Just a second.
So this is kind of Road 60 North. He's already got an existing road crossing there. Now with that being said, we don't have documentation on it as a planning district because it's an older road crossing. But he's got an electrical break underneath the road, and he's not having service on one side. So he is looking to repair said service. Now with that being said, I'm assuming at the time it was trenched across the road instead of directionally forward. At this point, I'm requesting council provide some information on how we'd like to proceed. Knowing that how this road crossing was put in, or potentially how this road crossing was put in, and our new irrigation policy. What would you like to happen in this situation? Would you actually boring it? I'm not sure exactly what is there or what is existing. So, not.
First question is he replacing the wire or is he fixing the wire?
That I'm not entirely sure. There, from my communication, it was a repair, but I'm not sure. The electrical servicing of those systems, I'm not familiar with. So.
Well, if he's repairing it, he's gotta dig it out because it wasn't put in. Doesn't matter whether it was directional bore. If he's just putting a new wire through, he can directionally bore. So.
Right.
I would suggest a directional bore, a new light wire through, because
Yeah.
it's our road, he's gonna have to dig it up in the future again another day, like.
Should just do
Underneath
it
and
for
do it all.
status quo, I guess, of what everybody else does.
My suggestion.
If the wire, you're no farther ahead to dig it out, we'll just put a new one through.
Can't imagine it being much difference in cost. By the time he digs up the road, repacks it, rebuilds
For sure,
it,
yeah.
and closing it for a day or two.
Definitely, yeah. It's the first application we've had for repair or replace. So we basically are going to treat it no differently than a new road crossing application, especially because we don't have an existing application on this one. So we'll do the same process. We'll notify him that he's got to follow the policy. I'll send him a policy with the areas highlighted, and then we'll just proceed as such. So.
Okay. Sounds good.
We've also got West Van ATV. Are we still gonna have an open house? Or?
You betcha. So a bunch of the parties that were planning to attend the original open house were active in the flood situation, so they were pulled away. So we have set a new date for June 23rd, and we are working towards a PowerPoint presentation with some handouts. I'm going to print up a large map of the trail, and we're going to kind of have representation hopefully from Conservation and Climate, RCMP, Crown Lands, the fire department, as well as the municipality and the ATV club. So not only is West Van ATV Association going to attend, but we're hoping to have representation from ATV Manitoba, which is the governing body of all ATV clubs in Manitoba. And Crown, I'm not sure if I said Crown Lands, but the majority of the trail is located within Crown Lands, and they're actually actively pulling the staging area 1 away from municipal right-of-way that we had originally talked about into a Crown Land location, so that they don't have to impact the residents on that one end. So what we're going to do is we're going to put up some notices around the community. We're going to go out to some post office and that sort of thing, kind of spread out a bit and see if we can generate enough more activity or more desire to come and attend the open house.
We got that sign on Main Street and Facebook is what people
Gotcha.
seem to be addicted to, so.
For sure.
So you said
21st?
23rd,
23rd, what time?
7 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're hoping that we're going to run it at the drop-in here in town, but if not, we'll run it in the basement of town.
Okay.
Or the old town hall.
That won't be big enough.
Just
You
let
don't
us know.
think so? For sure. It's one of those things, I'm never sure about who is going to attend and who's not going to attend. So if you don't think it's big enough, I will definitely find a location. We can look at the
That's no
hall as
bigger
well.
than here. so
Yeah, if we
Just
can
the
do
people
those
that
halls,
you're
it
inviting.
would space out more comfortably too, like.
For sure, definitely.
If representatives come from everybody, you said the basement of the town hall ain't gonna work.
I know Gopher wanted to come and discuss this as well, not just the But the Derby more so than anything, I don't know if you've seen the correspondence there.
You betcha, yeah, no, in fact, I was surprised that so there was another application from Westman ATV, provincial circular.
I sent it around to
Yeah,
everyone,
that was done for the Team Challenge ATV Derby. I was surprised that North Cypress-Langford's fire department wasn't included in the circulation, so I had sent it off to them to review. So hopefully we can have some communication there. There isn't any, again, it's a temporary use, so there's no concern from the planning district on that one, but we want to ensure that all parties in the area are notified. But yeah, again, going back to the open house, if we have concerns with size, I will definitely approach the hall to find that location and see if they're available. So again, we'll have a large map. I'm hoping 24 by 36, or something of that size,
And that's
just so that we can see.
23rd of this month?
23rd of June at 7 p.m. It's a little tight, but
Brad is like 4 days after that, so I don't know if the holiday available might be decorated already.
oh, okay. Well, it looks like Drop-In Center might be our best location.
Drop-in might be your second
Yeah.
biggest in town.
Or
Or the
have it
United
in the
Church
arena
Hall.
somewhere,
Oh,
or
yeah,
right
they're
there
in
with
the
the
big
ring or
space too.
something.
Okay.
Oh, there's golf, come on in.
I wanna go. Just for information's sake, I touched base with Evan Reynolds, and,
You can sit beside it.
it doesn't look like it's gonna be a replacement of wire.
Oh, okay.
It's just a localized fix that happens to be, he says, as luck would have it, it's right under the road. So,
Okay.
it doesn't appear to be a plan to replace the wire, so I don't know if that changes our
You
plans.
still gotta go under the
You still
road.
gotta go under the road.
Just following up, but.
Yeah, that's good.
I'll touch base with him. I did let him know that I'll be talking about it today at council, and then I'll chat with him to figure out what the best approach is. Knowing that it wasn't an actual road crossing that we have documentation on, we can easily say that we have a new policy, and it's gonna have to follow such, so.
Yeah, just talking about the ATV.
Yeah.
Derby that's going on, so.
I don't know what you could do about it or say about it or whatever, if anybody's got any hold on what they can do and can't do out there, I have no idea. But like being at the end of August 27th, it's gonna be getting dry likely, or maybe. I think Grady sent a letter
Yeah.
from the fire department stating that if it is too dry or something, that we got the authority to shut them down at any given point. Now on the fire department standby, I think that's the only thing we can actually do.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, if you guys can even, like, I don't know.
Yeah, no one's gonna judge you for that.
Yeah.
I don't seem to have any input on this, Keith. We don't seem to have any input on this Crown Land.
Yeah, that's the thing, like I said, like, yeah, like,
The only thing is we've got, and Rachel's tried to get us an open house to address the residential.
concerns, yes,
Concerns.
because there is something out of there
That's all
too.
we have.
You betcha.
And then,
Yeah.
and she's just told us that it's on June 23rd.
Yeah, June
So-
23rd.
June 23rd?
At 7 p.m. is we're gonna run an open house.
Oh.
I haven't had a chance to send out
Okay.
the notices to everybody who'd like the fire department members
Okay.
to attend. So going back to the Derby, what they've got is they've got their standard, again, it's ATU Manitoba's standard respect policies for concerns within the municipalities and the crown lands and areas that they're active within. So what I've done is I've requested all of their policies and their their bylaws in a sense to see again, so we can have that information for the 23rd, but also so that we can provide it to the municipality and the fire department to see what their practices are. So they do have requirements for the ATVs coming into the derbies to be cleaned and ensure that they have mufflers and those type of things, so that they're doing their due diligence to kind of address the potential concerns for sparks and that sort of thing. Now, we all know when it gets dry, especially in that area, a simple cigarette or a spark can do a lot of damage. So they are aware of that, and they do understand that if there is concerns from the fire department or from the province and they need to shut down the derby, they will. So they're very aware of that, and they're very keen to work with the area to ensure that they're being as respectful as possible. So that was one of their big talking points at the meeting we had on Thursday, was that they're trying to do their best within the area, and that they appreciate that there is a lot of bias towards the ATV clubs, and to be fair, there is some good reason for that. So that they are trying to kind of break those yeah. So they are definitely willing to work with the municipality in all concerns. So
Another thing is, gonna be a big concern out there too, is them crossing the highways, because they're gonna have to cross Trans-Canada twice, because
You
they're going
betcha.
from one side to the other side, then cross 351, then they gotta come back again.
Yeah, so
So
they,
what kind of things do they got in plan to cross those highways?
you
without
betcha.
Us
So,
being out there 24/7.
yeah, from my understanding, they do have members who have, some form of training with, yeah, with traffic control, and they will have a member stationed, on all points, or at least one on each side of the road kind of thing is what, from my understanding, when I joined the conversation, is what they're planning. And they will be at high vis with signage, so it isn't their first derby, so, you know, but again, there's a fair bit of highway crossing that they're gonna need to flag and be aware of, so.
I think this open house is something we probably should have had a year ago, and this should help a lot, all those questions.
Yeah.
Signage on number 1 highway can't be done by volunteers, I can tell them that right now. When we had the fire on number 5, we had to hire people.
Yeah,
We couldn't use our own people that,
Had to have traffic services
yeah,
to do it.
they referred to something in the meeting, and I didn't catch it, but from my understanding, it's very similar to what we carry on the fire department for traffic control. The way they were describing it, you know, again, there's certain training courses that we have to attend. I know when we had the fire, Glenboro had a certain number of employees that were not allowed to flag for that exact reason, because they didn't have those courses, so. But again, that's, the highway crossings, that is something that they'll have to figure out as a club. I don't necessarily think that they're looking for the fire department to man those road crossings.
No, I said limit random, I just wanna make sure that we are looking after that somehow.
Yeah, you betcha.
Because, yeah, accidents can happen.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No,
It's a good opportunity to work with the ATV club, because if you don't work with them, they're gonna come anyway.
Oh, yeah, they do anyway.
Yeah, they're gonna come
Yeah.
anyway, so at least you
Get
get some.
back in
people on
behind that
this.
park there, they got it all cut up like crazy, like that's why the farmers and stuff around here are so.
But at least you get to work with them. They're gonna come out and go there anyway, even if you don't talk to them, so you better be talking and at least get dialogue going with them anyway.
For sure, and especially with them changing staging area 1, with their application to Crown Land. Again, you had control when it was staging area 1 on the municipal roadway, or right of way. Now you don't, so at least we have some good discussion and the desire to have the open house with the club. So, you know, we'll definitely get as many people as we can out there, so.
as long as, obviously, everybody should go to this meeting open-minded and all that, but so far in the progression of this, and it's not a small ATV trails and all that stuff, the municipality hasn't, I mean, it's just been done by Crown Land and all that stuff anyway, so.
You betcha, it's definitely been taken out of the municipality's hands.
I think when it comes to, if you're gonna have a lot of residential issues and all that stuff, that's probably the only, time that we, and what jurisdiction we have,
Yeah.
who knows?
Most of it is leased ground land though, right? So it's,
Even as leased ground land.
yeah, no, I'm just
yeah,
saying
they're-
that we can't.
No, and it's an interesting situation. I can't imagine being a leasee and having some permission granted for
Oh.
an ATV club to come through, but
I don't think they can do that, and that crowd people are gonna be there and they can clarify that.
you betcha. Well, and that is the hope, is to have as many stakeholders at the open house as possible so that we can have these discussions. What we will be doing is we will have a sign-up sheet at the door. If people would like to speak, we are gonna ask that they at least put their name down on paper. So I find that helps keep the conversations diplomatic. And then we will also try to limit delegation speaking time, just so that everyone has a chance to have that discussion. We are gonna have it a little more informal than a formal agenda and talking points and that sort
Oh,
of
that
thing.
always works when you're chairing it.
Yeah, it
It
could be interesting. The other open houses I've run have been pretty quiet, so this is definitely one that we're
This one
gonna
probably might be-
Yeah, at least it's set up, thank you, and this is gonna
Yes.
help,
Yeah.
hopefully help alleviate our residents' concerns and show support for the fire department.
Well, and that's the thing, you know.
Like, they took us out there 2 years ago, me and Grady and Clyde went around with them, and they sort of showed us where they wanted to go back in the day, whatever. And then they also had spots that they're gonna designate for helipads.
Yep.
So if somebody does get hurt back there, that we know where, or they're gonna mark them, so we know where they are, so that we could go take the person or the victim or two guys, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, they have been talking to us along that line, but I said, that time of year, it's dry.
Okay, we're gonna,
Yeah.
do you have anything else, Rachel, that you want to? Do you want us to pass this one for, the only one that we got here? We can do that one right now and give you the paperwork if you want.
We've got these
Or-
ones.
Do it over there, Bob.
You're good, you're good. Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, Gopher.
Yeah.
How's the spraying going?
Good, actually got part of the highway almost done, and we're working on this end.
Good job.
Good.
Happy spurge
And
season.
it's gonna rain
It was a
now.
beautiful day, week last week.
Yes, it was. See you go.
Yeah.
Resolve council approve the conditional use order number CU 0722 NCL for Justin Casper. The application on behalf of 3094006 Manitoba Limited, owner of the property legally described as Northeast 121415 in the municipality of North Cypress-Langford, located east of Mi'kwa at the intersection of Municipal Road 84 and 80 to establish a single-family rural non-farm dwelling site in an AC 80 agricultural conservation zone. Subject to approval of this order is a condition of subdivision application number 4155-21-8361. Need a mover?
Jason?
Seconder?
No.
Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Subdivision application, Mid-Plains. I don't know if we need this, anyways. Resolution, whereas council has received an application from Mid-Plains Implements applicant on behalf of the registered owner, Mid-Plains Implement Limited and the town of Carberry, file number 4155-21-8387 for the subdivision of property legally described as Northwest 291015. So, what are we approving here? Subdividing,
Yeah, so basically at this point in time, because of the fact that the consolidation is happening into North Cypress-Langford,
yeah?
you have to approve that the municipality is in favor of that subdivision, with the gaining of the 6 acres. And the M2, condition that we've got is actually because the development plan lists out that area as, industrial. So we have to cover it within the development plan and the zoning bylaw. So in order to continue with the subdivision, because of the consolidation into this municipality has to approve it.
Approval subject to the following, that a conditional use order be granted allowing for the storage for the implement dealer within the M2 zone. The future access to the remaining parcel be the cost of the applicant. All legal costs incurred be the responsibility of the applicant. Need a mover? Seconder? Any questions? All in favor? Carried.
Hey, Trish,
Oh,
can you do me
so,
one favor?
did you have a question?
On
No, I
that?
just,
Oh.
Can you change it from 21 to 22? Just on the subdivision number there? I could have an old agenda. I could have the original.
22 on ours.
Okay, perfect.
I don't know.
No, it isn't.
No, I got it.
Halfway
I
down.
just changed it.
Oh,
I had 22 up here, not 22 down there.
got 22 twice.
It's okay, all good.
22 won't
Yep,
get through.
done.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Okay, be it resolved, council has received an application from Robert Shirley, applicant on behalf of the registered owner Robert Shirley and Wright's Bud Farms Inc. File number 4155-21-8395 for the subdivision of the property legally described as Southeast 261214. Approval subject to that a conditional use order be obtained for the establishment of a rural non-farm dwelling site within an AG agricultural general zone. That a variance order be obtained following the allowing the reduction in the site area from a minimum of 5 acres to 4. That full access to the remaining parcel be the cost of the applicant. All legal costs incurred be the responsibility of the applicant. Need a mover? Seconder?
Jason?
Questions? All in favor?
Just changed it to 2022, I don't know why I keep going to 2021, but anyway.
Road crossing. Whereas council has received a road crossing application number 0222 NCL from San Hills Electric to allow the installation of an electrical service line at a 90-degree crossing from northeast 331215 across the municipal road 66, ending in northwest 341115, roughly located 0.6 miles south of the intersection of municipal road 66 and 87. Be it resolved that council approve the road crossing application subject to the following: that a road crossing agreement be entered into between the municipality and San Jose Electric, that the wire be buried deeper than 3 feet in order to develop the road and ditches in the future, the applicant to follow road crossing policies as directed.
Can we change that from electric?
I did.
Okay.
I'm like, oh,
And the applicant road crossing policy, that's when they're told that they have to at least inform the foreman
You betcha.
when they're doing it.
Yeah, so they have to notify them when, and they also have to provide GPS locations and all that kind of stuff.
Need a mover?
Malcolm.
Seconder?
Grayson,
All in favor? Guys all notice I abstained from that one?
So does Sand Hills own the property? Properties?
It's listed as a numbered company, and the numbered company is Davis and Farms on both properties.
So why is it Sand Hills?
Because Charles is the one that applied for it, so
Mhm.
Charles from San Francisco. So he's acting as the applicant for the installation, so.
On that note, is there any other questions for planning?
it's just district meeting attendance thing.
Yeah, so we had altered one of our policies in the planning district. Excuse me one second, it's organizational bylaw number 74. So what we've done is we've amended that bylaw to include attendance requirements. So after a certain number of missed meetings, we just notify the municipality that they have members that are not attending. So, and again, there can be all sorts of reasons for not attendance. And again, we ask that if members can't attend, just send and again, we do receive notification that members can attend. It's just if we could have an alternate sent, especially with a lot of the discussions right now when we're doing lots of subdivisions and that kind of stuff, we want to have as much involvement from the municipalities as possible. So again, it's our standard notice now will basically say that you've got a member that missed a couple meetings. You know, can you ensure that either you're sending an alternate or that we have some direct involvement. So,
There's some motion or something we have to deal with on the agenda?
it's just notification.
Just
Yeah,
notification.
it's honestly no different than any attendance issues that the municipality might have. It's just going forward now that we've amended the organizational bylaw, we have to do our due diligence to say, hey, we've got some missed attendance now. Again, we can appreciate people are busy. We can appreciate that there are other things. And again, if members can't attend, we do receive notification that they can't attend. It's just we would really love to have someone else in that seat if we could.
Okay. We're gonna make sure that the alternatives are in place for not only planning, but all these other ones.
For sure, and again, it's just the new, because we amended the bylaw, we have to kind of keep going with what we've set in place. So it's just so that, especially with North Cypress-Langford and your setbacks for subdivisions from livestock, intensive livestock, we want to make sure that we've got enough eyes on it, because not all of our members are familiar with those setbacks and that sort of thing. And we do have quite a bit of subdivisions to talk about. We've got another 2 for this Thursday, so we just want to make sure that nothing's being missed, and we don't necessarily catch everything when we should, because sometimes we're not as familiar with the areas. So.
Okay, any other questions? Other than that, we're gonna recess for 10 minutes.
Out of the ones, building permits and stuff.
Yeah. So North Cypress-Langford is doing really well. We've got 54 permits on the book, and we're sitting at over 50% of our 55% of our anticipated budget for this year. Got a ton of new houses being built in the municipality. So we had hoped to at least have a general idea for council today on building permits, but it's just been a little crazy in the office, so.
So when someone takes out a permit, they're so long to act on it.
You bet. So a permit needs to be acted on within a year. So with that being said, we do have some people who apply for permits really early. And then they go in, and as soon as they start site work, so they start prepping the site for future development, we consider that permit active. Obviously, it has to be more than, stuff in the dirt. They actually have to put some forethought into the location of the building, but especially with the fluctuation of building materials right now, if the permit hasn't been, if they don't feel that they are going to actively get into the ground within the next 2 months, we don't necessarily consider an active live permit. We also won't put it in the permit book. So if we don't feel that you're gonna build within a year, we basically write out the permit and it sits on hold until we receive notification that they've actually purchased material, and then we'll put it in.
Can you put that?
Yeah, prices are just a little crazy right now.
Everybody's calendar, because that's an important
Things are gonna go down.
Pardon?
Things are gonna go down.
I know.
It's one of those things, it dropped a little bit and everything kind of started to settle out and then it jumped again. So it's kind of a weird wave right now, and I think it'll continue that way during the busy season. So it will drop a little bit over fall and winter, and then we'll kind of skyrocket when people start to get busy.
Okay, number 7, there are no bylaws, so we're gonna go to number 9 now.
Yep.
I'm gonna let you read this one, okay?
Okay, what am I doing? Oh, this is number 9, general business?
Yeah. So I can,
Sure, yep. So resolution 130-2022, whereas, as per section 94(1) of the Municipal Act states that a member of council is disqualified from council if he or she is absent for the full duration of 3 consecutive regular council meetings, unless the absences are, with the leave of council granted by resolution, passed at any of the 3 meetings, a prior or the next meeting following the 3rd absence. And whereas Councillor Clyde McCallum has been absent from 3 consecutive regular council meetings, being therefore be it resolved that council acknowledge the disqualification of members of council as per section 94(1) of the Municipal Act and agree to leave with council approval, which would enable Councillor McCallum to continue to hold their seat on council.
you mover,
Grayson,
seconder,
David.
any questions?
So this is just acknowledging what's happening, but he
Right.
still can be councillor.
Right, yes,
Yeah.
correct.
That's why I requested this be put on.
All in favor? Carried. So, we are moving right to page number
4 at the top right-hand corner.
4. Be it resolved the council increase the mileage paid to non-unionized employees to 60 cents per kilometer. Mover,
David,
questions?
Needs 3 more.
I just moved it because,
No,
you
that's
guys
right.
just redid your bylaw
Right.
to 60
Yep.
cents, and it's just kind of reflecting what we get paid in our
Yep.
mileage, so. Yes, can you put it to $1?
All in favor? Carried. Did I get a mover and a seconder for that?
Yes, you did, yeah.
Yep.
Joy, reporter.
So we have discussed the joint reporter, at the joint committee meetings. I brought it up because I know we had spoken a while ago about, because we, as you all know, we pay 25% of those meetings that he attends to. We do have a resolution couple resolutions actually, so June 8th of 2020 to suspend the reporter services. Then I know we brought it up to council at the town of Carberry and they disagreed. However, I feel that, and this is another discussion you can have, but I feel that the municipality isn't seen in those minute reports a lot of the time, and it's really the cost for having this joint reporter is not necessary for the municipality. I don't feel that we're getting what we're paying for.
What did that resolution state back in June? That we were-
June stated that we would suspend the reporter services.
So I guess a show of hands, are we gonna go by our resolution?
Yep. The resolution was.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I know David, last time you abstained, or, sorry, you were against that.
Well, that's when he was doing
Right,
meetings.
yeah, yeah.
So I guess just.
So I just wanted
I'm not
to,
supposed to be at the,
no, it's
join
okay. No, but this
anyways,
was a
so-
resolution that you guys had voted on back, like, as a
2 years
North
ago.
Cypress-Langford Council. So I'm just gonna, what I'm gonna do, I know we've discussed it, and I know that there was some, but I'm gonna bring it up for the next
Well,
committee.
just tell them that we've already
But
voted
this has
again.
happened once before, is what I'm telling you.
So just tell them we're going to.
Okay,
Go
anyway,
by our
I'm just
resolution.
trying to follow up on some, cleaning some stuff up, so hopefully.
Water connections.
Thank you.
Be it resolved, council approved the water hookup for Tyler Stewart located in northeast 331318. Further be resolved, council enter into an agreement for the water connection with Tyler Stewart. Need a mover?
Grayson,
Seconder?
Nothing.
Questions?
he's not gonna be doing this for another year anyway, but it's in the queue.
Proactive,
Yep,
yeah.
yep, oh, you're doing the right thing, yep.
Yeah.
All in favor? Carried.
He's right on the line, so that's good.
Be it resolved, that council approve the water, is he in the municipality?
Yep.
Be it resolved that council approve the water hookup for Jeff and Vanessa Jensen located at Lot 5, Plan 56926 Strawberry Lane, and further be it resolved, council enter into an agreement for water connection with Jeff and Vanessa Jensen. Need a mover?
David,
Seconder?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Carried.
Do we need to talk to the town depot?
We have already,
Yeah.
they allowed it, yep,
Good,
that's, you
thank you,
betcha.
thank you.
Kirby Dump Road.
I just wanted to discuss the maintenance of the Carberry Dump Road, because I have gotten a few complaints in, but, I know at the last, I think it was a waste management committee meeting, I can't remember. It is a municipal road. The
this
dump,
is the transfer station.
this is for the Carberry transfer station, that's right, yeah, our shared transfer station. So there was a lot of controversy between who maintains that road and who, like, should it be the town, should it be the RM? So I know Grady discussed that the town was gonna take that over, however, I feel that it is our road. Like, as a municipality, it's our road, we should be responsible for it. And just like the town cost shares what expenses go into the dump, like, we share that, if we grade the road, it's 50/50, right? But we, as a municipality, that is our road, the town should be grading it, it should be our, under our
It's
umbrella.
no different than.
I know that was
Good point.
reiterated differently, but I just
Yeah.
wanted everybody to be clear that I have given instructions to Matt and Brett, who grades that,
Yeah.
and he,
Okay.
anyway,
I
just
like
so we're
that,
all
'cause
on the
it's really
same.
no different than not allowing other household products. If
Right.
It's our road, it's should be
It's
us,
our
and they
road, yeah.
build that path.
Just so you know, okay?
Yeah,
Straight across the
Thank
I
you.
board.
don't like it.
Do you want me to read this next one, Bob?
Well, you can, yeah, sure.
This came out of a Western Caucus meeting, these two resolutions here, so.
Yeah, no, I'll read them out here.
Speak to them when we get them.
Resolution 134, 2022, whereas Manitoba has experienced extremely high rates of both snow and rain in 2022, causing flooding throughout the province and causing farmers to delay seeding or being unable to seed due to waterlogged fields. And whereas this excessive moisture comes at a time when input costs, including fuel, seed, and fertilizer, are at record highs, following the previous year's extreme drought, putting further strain on producers. And whereas this insurance product is available to all farmers and provides varying coverage and deductibles, allowing producers to purchase the coverage they need to insure themselves against extreme weather conditions. And whereas the cost of production has risen dramatically since 2014, but there has been no corresponding increase to the available insurance coverage. Now therefore be it resolved that AMM lobby the Minister of Agriculture to increase the excessive moisture insurance maximum per acre coverage to $20 per acre to allow farmers to purchase insurance that will protect them from losses due to extreme weather. And further be it resolved that AMM requests the Minister of Agriculture to provide a one-time doubling of a producer's existing moisture insurance through the Disaster Financial Assistance Program to assist farmers who have been unable to seed due to the extreme snow and rain in 2022.
Like a mover for it,
Jason?
seconder? You,
I think it's fairly straight explanatory. Everybody in the Southwest was concerned about the moisture that we've had for the last year and input prices and that, and it's time to start lobbying for our producers.
Yeah.
Pretty straightforward.
How much do farmers get now if they can't seed? Or is that basically what it's saying?
About $50 an
$50 an acre,
acre.
too wet to seed, or it has been?
It has been 50 and they haven't increased it.
They haven't increased since 14, so it's been 8 years since anything's been done, so.
so what relevance is a $20 an acre figure having to hear that?
Well,
That's the cost of it.
That's for insurance.
That's the insurance premium.
That's your premium.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor? Carried. Yep, go ahead.
Resolution 135, 2022, whereas municipalities in rural Manitoba do not receive their fair share of funding from Manitoba's Strategic Municipal Investment Fund, where they receive only 29%, 50.8 million of unconditional funding, while the city of Winnipeg receives 71%, or 121.2 million. There's a government website link there. And whereas this funding formula is based on a per capita funding formula for communities outside the city of Winnipeg, so that less densely populated areas of Manitoba receive less funding, even while they support major industries, such as agriculture and oil and gas, which provide a significant contribution to the GDP of Manitoba and require a significant infrastructure to support. And whereas large investments are needed to support municipal infrastructure outside the city of Winnipeg, so that these communities can better support existing industries and also better prepare for growth. Therefore, be it resolved that the AMM lobby the province of Manitoba to review and revise the funding formula of the Strategic Municipal Investment Fund to include not only funding based on population, but to include a funding model that also provides funding to support infrastructure costs, example, number of road miles maintained, so that communities outside of Winnipeg can make significant contributions to the economy of the province.
Need a mover?
Homestead, that's awesome.
Seconder?
Sure.
That one's self-explanatory,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you brought it, so if you got anything
No,
to,
it's just it's quite out there for you. You can see what they're after, so.
That's good. No, I
any
like that.
other comments or concerns? I'll vote all in favor? Carried.
Sorry, if you wanted to move that, I just.
No, that's fine. You, I just go to a meeting every now and then, so.
Yeah.
Be it resolved, council approved to pay out the return Blue Cross premium to all municipal staff and council as presented. And further be it resolved that should there be a return of premiums annually going forward, council shall resolve the premium to be paid out to the municipal staff and council annually. Need a mover?
Yep.
Seconder?
Just to kind of elaborate why I put that rest of that in there is because I feel like we're doing this
Every year.
depending on if we have a return. This would just cover not having to bring this up again. And just so you're all aware, I was late on sending this out, but the return of the insurance premium for 2021 was $1,976.73 for just us. Okay?
All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved the council add the following amount to the tax roll as listed. Roll number 321200, $23,379.81. I need a mover.
David,
Seconder?
Yep.
I can also explain this is a outstanding account for the tipping fees for Twilight Holding. Okay? Yep.
All in favor? Let's see those hands again. Carried. Be it resolved, council write off the account DB 13476 for $1.09. Need a mover.
Homestead.
Seconder?
Is that you, Malcolm?
Yep.
Sorry.
Sorry,
So this is a more of a cleanup fee because of it was actually the Brookdale drop-in center for a water sample. There was interest, so I have to I have to do this to clean up our books, so it's $1.09, but we have to have backup for it.
Perfect.
Be it resolved that council hire Fletcher Wells as a seasonal public works operator for the municipality of North Cypress-Langford and set the wage according to union agreement effective 16/022. Need a mover?
David,
Seconder?
Bolton.
All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that council hire Terry Parker as a seasonal public work operator for the municipality of North Cypress-Langford and set the wages according to union agreement effective June 13th, 22. Mover? Seconder?
Malcolm.
All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that council hire Bernie Ross as a seasonal public work operator for the municipality of North Cypress and set the wages according to the union agreement effective June 20th, 22. Need a mover?
Grayson,
Seconder?
Bolton.
All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that council hire Casey Lockhart as a public works operator for the municipality of North Cypress-Langford and set the wages to the union agreement effective June 6, 2012. Mover?
David,
Seconder?
yep,
All in favor? Carried.
is that the person up at Brookdale?
Yes.
Whereas the heavy rains of May 1st, 2022 had caused widespread damage to private and municipal properties and infrastructure within the municipality of North Cypress-Langford, and whereas the event created a burden exceeding the financial capacity of those impacted, therefore it be resolved that council of the municipality of North Cypress-Langford request the government of Manitoba declare the event eligible for disaster financial assistance for the public and the private sector to provide compensation for expenditures related to preemptively, whatever that is,
Preemptive, yeah.
and restoration of damage. Need a mover?
Grayson,
Seconder?
Murray.
can I have a comment here?
Yes.
Should we be putting down May 1st, 2022, or just from spring rains and excess of snow or something like that?
Could we just put the month of May?
Or did we have a big rain on the 1st of May?
That's what I wrote down in my book, and Matt agreed with me too.
Okay, all right, no, if that's what you're.
Because we did get some rain before then, but the big spill happened that weekend of that May
For
1st.
the spring of 2022.
It was on the Sunday, so yeah, that's what I wrote, and Matt had that down too. I can change it to just put,
Spring of 2022.
Yeah, I would think maybe the
Okay,
spring. would be-
I'll revise it to say,
Would that be all right, Trish? you
yeah,
think?
that's okay, 2022.
All in favor? Carried.
Has an application gone in then? Yeah.
No, I have to have this resolution done before I do that, yeah.
Be resolved, council approved to invest with the Bank of Montreal for a 5-year tenure blue chip GIC investment of $400,000 with the Bank of BMO Investments. Mover?
David,
Seconder?
Yep,
Bolton.
okay,
I did send this out to the finance committee and gave options. BMO did have the best return. Westover, I've just dealt with the two here, local ones. I know Strive would have been very similar to Westover as well, so BMO had the best rate, and I think that we would gain more on that. So it's just my opinion, and it just needs done, so, yep, okay.
Added to the agenda, nothing?
Carry that.
I guess, I got one around the table, this could just be,
I don't
Yeah,
think we
hold
voted
on
on
this.
that one.
Hold on.
all in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Brookdale Sewer, we hired a guy to give us a report on that, we should,
Yeah,
did we get that report?
I have been putting that on the back burner for a minute, but it is on my stuff to do. And we will have to have another meeting with those residents because I know they all kind of agreed on like a minimum of $100 maybe a year. It might be a bit more, so we have to have that discussion with them. So yes, it's on my to-do list. I just haven't got there yet. It's been a little. But yes.
We should take a look at that report and probably schedule it before harvest and all that starts, otherwise gonna take 2 or 3 readings to put a special thing in.
Well, that's why we didn't do it for this budget, because it was gonna take, so yes, I will try and get that, yes, yeah,
Communication,
you guys.
Brookdale Cemetery thanked us for our participation, well, we did too. Municipal relations, operating grant, do you wanna go on that one?
Just a second, we're talking, they're looking for a little more money.
Yes, they were. Yeah, cause we normally give them, right here, we give them 2,500 and they were looking for 2,750. Rising cost of fuel,
How many times did they say they mowed the grass there, wasn't it?
15 times.
Yeah, and Wildwood and Meadens and all that do it 5, 6?
Well, you can't really, for initiative, you know, at least they're doing their job.
For $250, I have no problem with it, but the fact,
You need a resolution?
Yeah.
and then are we gonna,
Yeah, but are you gonna do 1 year only, or
are you gonna do all the
you
cemeteries?
gotta do all the, there's a lot out there that. do
Everybody had
volunteer
no
on
fuel
it.
and juice and all that stuff.
Yeah, but they're the only ones that have requested it, is it not?
Yeah, Wellwood didn't, and then Adrian's, I haven't heard from Adrian's,
I have
so
to.
let it look at Dallas.
So what do you,
Yeah.
about 10% increase there?
Exactly.
Why don't you put down the 3 of them at a 10% increase for the 3 of them and cover them all?
Sure.
Yeah, if they request it, they request it.
It's a small price to pay for our
It is.
responsibility we have, so
Yeah.
let's just give them all
That's something we
10%.
wanna keep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
The more you give them, the more beer cans you gotta pick up when they're done mowing. Just kidding. No, it's, you know, that's a service that and we are responsible for them, so that's,
So is it just to Brookdale,
No.
Wellwood, Adrian's,
all 10.
Maple, and Carberry?
No, those ones are big. We have a committee for the Carberry one and
Everybody's joint.
Just for the 3.
So just
Just for
Adrian's,
the-
Wellwood,
Just
and,
three.
Just the 3.
and Kerfoot. Yeah, we give money to Kerfoot.
yeah, we do.
I
We-
small grant, yeah. But yeah, no, for sure. It's basically all
Never got a
volunteer,
request for
class
flowers
attached.
from Kerfoot this year.
Oh,
We used to always send them 2 tubs full of flowers.
Is it called
Usually
Kerfoot
they got a
Cemetery?
supply
Is
of
that what
it.
it's called?
I can do
2
with
miles
those.
from my place, and that's where the raccoons
Yeah.
are.
10% increase for
You should see the
rising fuel costs, is that what I want to say?
Still back for ours.
Increase expense.
Be it resolved, council approve a 10% increase for the 2022 annual grant to Wellwood Cemetery, Brookdale
Actually, no, I
Cemetery,
think I got
Adrian
some
Cemetery, and
volunteer
Kerfoot
work.
Cemetery due to the rising fuel costs. Need a mover?
Jason?
Seconder?
I'll second it.
All in favor? And when we send them the checks, thanks for their public service.
That was Malcolm that we, is that seconded, sorry?
I seconded it.
Yep.
Okay.
You wanna handle PIT, DLT? Hey?
Bills, oh, the
Yeah,
bills?
that needs to be
Yeah, well,
explained to
so
people.
I guess, has everybody read the correspondence I sent out?
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I don't want to repeat myself if I don't have to. So PILT, so the payment in lieu of taxes, which is a federal government program for the, you know how that goes. So basically, they're withholding payments to us due to the fact of the education property tax rebate. They have reiterated that they will be paying that, for our tax due date this coming, so September. They will be paying all outstanding charges, and they have been accumulating interest on this as well. So it'll be great if they would pay that, and it would be, so they have reiterated that they're going to be paying it, basically.
Excellent.
And adjusting for any reduction in school tax ongoing, which I guess they should be able to, right?
Awesome.
MPI, securing the sites, that went up a little bit for the fire department.
Yeah.
Deepwater Titans,
We pay the Yellowhead enough money without sponsoring them too.
That's what I thought, yeah. The AMM golf tournament.
Oh, hold on. Or refer it to Langford Rec. Okay? We're not hard.
No, this is the whole municipality this is after, not just Langford Rec. We give them enough money, 20 or 25,000
The Titans
a
is
year
a team,
for
isn't it?
facility to play in.
Used to be the natives.
It's the Titans now,
No.
so
Okay, we're not even gonna go there.
anyway. Continue.
WMRL.
Western Manitoba Regional
Yeah.
Library. They just have a new director of library services, who is Erica Martin. And then Spruce Plains has their May stats. Mr. Morehouse has retired officially, so
He's done now, isn't he?
he's done, yeah. The consul that came in said he misses them dearly. He says he misses the conversations. It's pretty
He's well
quiet
known
ride,
around the
yeah.
country.
We should actually, now that COVID's over and all that stuff, like maybe once or twice a year, get them to come to council
Yeah,
again.
he said that they usually come like once a year, but I can get them to come quarterly if you want.
Well, no, but I mean, Morehouse and Brandon, when we went to that one, they're gonna try to start to get out again, because some of these guys have questions.
You know what? I can get
Yep.
him to come up in the next meeting if you want me to.
Time allowing, it's nice to see them once or twice
Sure.
a year at council, because councilors have questions too. AMM golf tournament.
Is July 28th this
The
year
only week I
in
certified.
Delmarine Golf Academy.
How far is Wallace up in
Not very far.
Not very far.
Then I will
You can
still
almost
slip
walk
away.
over.
Yeah, it's not for a bit, but I just wanted to let everybody know that it's happening again.
You know, if no one else wants my spot, I will happily tag in again. Down from the camp.
Okay, around the table, we're gonna start with Harold.
Oh, I'm good.
This is Olmsted, Dallas.
This is
I'm 65, guys,
Yeah, I
sometimes
know,
it
right?
takes
It's
4
ridiculous,
seconds to
isn't
come
it?
to my mind.
Um,
Even though she's my neighbor and she spreads shit outside before it rained
You're
and.
getting recorded.
Now I'm just
I was
joking
at a
around.
Wellwood meeting last week, and the Scotties had donated the current curling bleachers that are inside. However, they're more built for inside, and they deteriorate quickly out of the ball diamonds. So they're politely going to decline them. So if anybody else has any sites that they might think that the wooden bleachers from the curling rink could be used for. And if not, maybe we'll see if they want them for like inside and under the shelter at the pool, possibly. But everybody else has.
The issue
money in
is
their
It's tough
district.
with the outside, they just deteriorate.
Yeah, and they're still in great shape, so if there's any covered or inside space that could use them,
The issue with those is they have to be dismantled to get them
they
under
do
the-
have to be partially taken apart to get out too, so.
So I think they were gonna offer them to the ball guys, but you're saying they shouldn't be put outside? so-
Well, yeah, they offered them to the Wellwood Ball Tournament, but especially because this year the Wellwood Ball isn't a go because it's a late spring. So if anybody else knows of anybody that could need them,
Basically, somebody who's willing to throw a coat of paint on them.
well, someone has to be willing to upkeep them outside, or if there's a sheltered event. I don't know if Neepawa Fairgrounds perhaps has a
They
covered
got a
area.
million of them
Yeah,
up there
right.
already, they don't need
Yeah.
anymore.
I would suggest they forward the 4-H kids.
True that. Okay.
They could reach out to each individual rec district as well.
Yeah. Well,
Like with
I'm on
a
two
coat
of
of
them.
paint on, we'll get them 8 or 10 years out of them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and they are decently painted now, like, but,
The big thing is you gotta dismantle them,
Yeah.
and then you
They're not
start
light.
with a bunch of boards, so.
yeah. And then, the other thing is, if it is still a go, with the circumstances in Carver right now, there is a Splash Park fundraising social this Friday in town. If anybody needs tickets, I'm holding on to
Have
them.
they sold many?
They're doing a count today.
Okay,
and
I
kind
didn't,
of
I didn't hear.
putting a
this.
feeler out to the rec board as to guidance as to carry on or not. So that is going on, as well as the Splash Park is also doing a booth and face painting and such at the Ranch Rodeo in town this weekend. And Fireman's Breakfast is also gonna be Saturday morning. And yard sales. Yeah. Other than that, I think I'm good.
Right?
Nothing really, everybody's working good, I think, and with what we've had for weather, the roads, they've done a good job, the guys being in short too, and good job to all them, I think.
Malcolm?
Not sure off the top of my head.
We'll take it anywhere in your hand. As you can see off the top.
No, I have nothing.
Dave?
When are the tax notices?
Oh, I'm gonna update you.
Should I, that little sojourn I went on the other day, is that the time?
Oh, it doesn't hurt to inform
No.
what's going on.
Yeah, we had a ratepayer over near me that's wanting to spot a quarter section of land, and the road allowance over to it. Right at the start, there's about maybe 100 yards of bush that he wants to punch a hole through so he can go straight down the road allowance. And, I couldn't see any problem in doing that, so I gave him okay to do that. And he's gonna be putting in a pivot eventually. And on the very far side, there's a few trees on the road allowance. And he owns the land across the road allowance as well. And I told him he wanted to knock some of them down so they don't interfere with this pivot. There's no road or that gonna be developed. There's no cost to the municipality for any of
As
this.
long as Matt's aware of it.
Yeah, I didn't know about this.
Conservation corridor, no issues there.
I don't think so.
That'd be my only concern.
Yeah, I wouldn't hurt to double check on that one, just to keep standard on that one.
Anything on municipal right away should go through Matt or Trish, and
Yeah.
just so that it's known.
Yeah,
What?
I went there too,
what
full
road number?
confession, it's my brother, so I'm not, I asked Dave to look at it. It is something that would
Not a big
normally
issue.
be done all around.
Do you know the road number, David?
it's road number 63,
Okay,
and it's from road 95, just kind of 95 to the east.
Right now, it's
I
less
think
than a
he's
turkey
only-
trip.
Yeah.
Doing, if he gets this 100 yards or so done, then I think it's clear the rest of the half mile.
oh yeah, I see it here. Okay, I'll just let Matt know about it
It's
too,
been,
maybe.
it's been pasture land. It's got a bunch of trees to get rid of before you can put in a pivot.
I'm good.
Okay. I have a few
You guys don't listen to me
things
anymore.
say. So that is my turn.
Definitely.
Fairground Road, it was discussed at the joint committee meeting. I know there's a lot of damage to the road that goes along by the fairgrounds down by Carberry here. So I know the town municipality discussed that we would kind of share costs for that. So I think they're gonna just put cold mix down. So it is ordered and the plan is to do it this week, as far as I know where, so.
We, because they're willing to help us, we at the joint said that we would go as high as $1,000 for
Yeah,
cold mix,
there
and
was-
they would install it
Yeah,
for us.
and they're really done, so.
And I think the long-term plan would be to grind it up and make it from the tracks to the fairgrounds gravel, not because it would be
Right.
hundreds of thousands of dollars to,
Because it was paved from the
Yeah.
tracks to the entryway of
Of the fair.
the fairgrounds, but
it's
it
totally
seems like
deteriorated.
it's, yeah.
It's toast.
Yeah. Okay, and then the AMM district meeting is June 24th at Minto, so that's next Friday. So I think myself, Bob, Ray, Dallas are going. I didn't hear from anybody else. But if you do want to attend, just let me know and I can get you registered. Fireman's breakfast, Dallas stole that one on me. Tax statement update. So yes, I have been in touch with municipal relations basically since I have submitted everything. They indicated that tax statements, they're behind basically, 4 to 6 weeks. So it's been almost 5 weeks now. I spoke to somebody from municipal relations on Friday, and I have actually received an email Friday afternoon that they're going to be processing them hopefully this week. So let's just say that the frustration on my end has been really, I put a notice out there for, I don't know if you guys seen that, but I did put a notice out there because I think people without a tax statement, they think, well, I don't have to pay my taxes. Well, what we've been telling them is you pay them based on last year's amount, in order to get the discount rate. So anyway, so yeah, they're supposed to be coming next week, hopefully. I mean, I can't make any promises, but I am very disappointed in municipal relations right now. I'm not gonna lie. They know that this happens every year. It happens all the time. I have actually spoken to MMA and AMM about this. So it's not just myself, it's other ones as well, so.
What day was that thing that,
July 5th?
okay, so it's probably,
I know what you're talking about. So anyway, so basically what makes this even harder is that everybody has deadlines, like municipalities have deadlines that we should be meeting, and they're not meeting theirs. So that is upsetting. And I have expressed my concerns to everybody, and
Is there a letter we should be sending to lobby one of the ministers? Looking at this?
that's what MMAA is working on right now,
Okay.
so I'll leave it with them.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway. Town of Neepawa, they are increasing their water rates. So we have, through our PUB application, yeah, so once they increase their rates, we have a flow through, so ours will also coincide with that, so that's fine. Who else is I going to? Oh, I do have, actually, this will be a camera. This will be a camera. And that's it. I'm done.
all right. Be it resolved, the council as a committee of a whole now move into in-camera to discuss personal matters. Need a mover?
Yep.
Seconder? And at that point, we would thank you very much for coming.
Recording.